How are you guys doing? Today is Thursday, May 19th, 2022. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to review yesterday's Elite matchups and performances from Wednesday, May 18th, and of course, I'm going to preview everything that's going on today as we navigate through the world of sports a day at a time. Taking a quick step back and looking at where we are, in the NBA playoffs, there are just 4 teams left as we are in the conference final round. Taking a look at what's going on in the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs, there are only 8 teams that are left competing for the 2022 Stanley Cup. We are now in the second round as all teams have now played a game. Taking a look at what's going on overseas with the German league now finished. Of course, there are 5 other leagues that still need to get their seasons finished. But with that said, I'm going to start first with what's going on in the NBA, starting off in San Francisco as the 3 seed in the West. The Golden State Warriors hosted the 4 seed Dallas Mavericks. Quick review of how these teams got here. The 3 seed Warriors beat the 6 seed Nuggets, led by this year's NBA MVP Nikola Jokic, and that was the first round. They would go on to the second round to beat the 2 seed Memphis Grizzlies in 6 games. The 4 seed Dallas Mavericks made it here after beating the 5 seed Utah Jazz in 6 games in the first round. They would go on to the conference semis where they beat the top seed Phoenix Suns, the team who had the best regular season record in the NBA this year. And then taking a look at how game 1 of this series would play out, the Golden State Warriors would, of course, get home court advantage in this matchup because they are the higher seed. And in this particular matchup, the Golden State Warriors would take advantage of their home court advantage. They would win game 1 112-87. They would go on to win this game by 25 points after they outscored the Mavericks by 10 in the first quarter. They would also outscore the Mavs by 10 in the third. They outscored the Mavs by 16 in the second half after they were already up by 9 at halftime. On the losing end of this matchup, the 4 seed Dallas Mavericks were led in scoring by their elite starting shooting guard out of Slovenia, Luka Doncic. He finished with 20 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists as he had 7 turnovers in 35 minutes. He shot 6 for 18 from the field, 3 for 10 from 3, and 5 for 8 from the free throw line. Their point guard off the bench, Spencer Dinwiddie, finished with 17 points in 24 minutes. Their starting point guard, Jalen Brunson out of Villanova, finished with 14 points in 32 minutes. Their starting small forward, Reggie Bullock, had 12 points in 36 minutes. On the winning end of this matchup, the 3rd seed Golden State Warriors were led in scoring in game 1 by their goated starting point guard, the NBA's all-time leader in three-pointers made, Stephen Curry. Curry finished with 21 points, 12 rebounds, and 4 assists in 31 minutes. He shot 7 for 16 from the field. He shot 3 for 9 from 3, and he shot 4 for 7 from the free throw line. Their starting small forward, their all-star and former number 1 overall pick, Andrew Wiggins. Well, he was a number 1 overall pick with the Warriors, but he was a number 1 overall NBA draft pick. Will go on to finish with 19 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists in 35 minutes. Wiggins shot 8 for 17 from the field, 3 for 8 from 3. And then off the bench, the Warriors shooting guard Jordan Poole finished with 19 points in 26 minutes as he nearly fouled out. The Warriors' elite starting shooting guard Klay Thompson finished with 15 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 blocks in 35 minutes. He shot 7 for 13 from the field and 1 for 4 from 3. The Warriors' all-star starting power forward Draymond Green finished with 10 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals in 29 minutes. He shot 4 for 6 from the field and 2 for 3 from the free throw line. Their starting center, Kevon Looney, finished with 10 points and 5 rebounds in 28 minutes. He shot 5 for 5. Their small forward off the bench, Otto Porter Jr., finished with 10 points and 6 rebounds in 23 minutes. He shot 5 for 7 from the field. And with this win, the 3 seed Golden State Warriors now hold a 1-0 series lead over the 4 seed Dallas Mavericks, as they are now holding They're now sitting 3 wins away from the NBA Finals. With this loss, the Dallas Mavericks have to win 4 of their next 6 games if they want to make it to the NBA Finals. So that is what the NBA playoffs are looking like as of right now. And then, of course, taking a look at what is going on today within the NBA. Today should be Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals in Miami in FTX Arena, as the 1 seed Miami Heat hold a 1-0 series lead over the 2 seed Boston Celtics. The Heat won game 1 in Miami by 11. Another win here would put them 2 wins away from the NBA Finals. The Celtics have to win 4 of their next 6 games if they want to advance to the finals, but both teams are very much alive. Taking a look now at what is going on to the NHL, as we still have 4 teams in the NBA playoffs. Starting off in Raleigh, these Carolina Hurricanes would face off against the New York Rangers for the first matchup of the Metropolitan Division Final. The Hurricanes, of course, entering this matchup after they were able to beat the Eastern wildcard number 1 seed Boston Bruins in 7 games. The Rangers beat the 3 seed in the Metropolitan Division, the Pittsburgh Penguins, in 7 games after they were trailing 3-1 after 4 games. In game 1, the Carolina Hurricanes would go on to beat the Rangers 2-1 as this game went into overtime. The first goal of this game was scored by Philip Chytil of New York as the Rangers held the first lead. Carolina would tie it up in the third period with a late goal from Sebastian Aho, and it would be Ian Cole's overtime goal that gave Carolina the win. The top star of this game went to Ian Cole, Carolina's defender, as he had a goal. The second star of the game went to Carolina's goalie, Antti Raanta, as he had 27 saves. And then Sebastian Aho, Carolina's center, he would finish with a goal as he was the game's third star of the day. With this win, the Carolina Hurricanes are now 3 wins away from the Eastern Conference Finals. As with this loss, the Rangers have to win 4 of their next 6 games in order to make it through. But we are still very early, as both teams still have a couple games of breathing space before they are eliminated from the Stanley Cup playoffs, at least at this point. And of course, the winner of this matchup will face off against the winner between the Panthers and the Lightning, as the Lightning lead that series 1-0. Taking a look at the second game from yesterday, it took place in Calgary as the Pacific Division Final saw the Flames beat the Oilers in game 1 9-6 in what would be an amazing goal fest. Calgary would score the first 3 goals of the game. They would even go up 5-1 at one point. Edmonton would tie the game up at 6 before Calgary scored the last 3 goals of the game in the third period. The top star of the game went to Calgary's left winger Matthew Tkachuk, as he had 3 goals, of course a playoff hat trick being the grandest of all hat tricks. And then Calgary's defender Rasmus Andersson had a goal and 2 assists. He was the second star of the game. Blake Coleman, Calgary's center, had 2 goals on the day. And with this win, the Calgary Flames now hold a 1-0 series lead. They are 3 wins away from the Western Conference Finals, where they face off against the winner between the Colorado Avalanche and the St. Louis Blues, as the Avalanche are currently leading that series 1-0. Like I said, with this win, they're 3 wins away. Edmonton has to win 4 of their next 6 games if they want to make it to the next round and face off against either the Avalanche or the Blues. But of course, both teams are just getting started, so they have a good amount of games to be playing. Taking a look at what is going on today in the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs, should be game 2 in Sunrise and in Denver. First, starting off in the East, the Florida Panthers, the Atlantic Division champs, are going to host the 3-seed Tampa Bay Lightning, who are the defending Stanley Cup back-to-back champs. Right now, Tampa Bay leads this series 1-0 after they won game 1 4-1. And then the second game today will at 9:30 we'll see the winner of the champ of the Central Division, the Colorado Avalanche, host the St. Louis Blues for game 2, as the Avalanche have already won game 1. They're leading this series 1-0 after they beat the Blues 3-2 in overtime. So of course, this is the Blues' chance to even it up, as if the Panthers or if the Lightning and Avalanche win here, both teams would be 2 wins away from the conference finals. So there's a lot at stake with these games today. Taking a look at what's going on in the MLB, starting off in Tampa, the Tampa Bay Rays hosted the Detroit Tigers. The Rays would end up beating the Tigers in this matchup 6-1, as the Tigers never really had a chance to take the lead here. The Tigers would see the loss go to their starting pitcher, Eduardo Rodriguez. Rodriguez allowed 3 earned runs off of 4 hits, as he never even made it out the first inning. He walked 2 batters, and with this loss, he's 1-3. In the Tigers batting lineup, their rookie first baseman Spencer Torkelson went 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run. He was the only player with a multi-hit game as he hit his 4th home run of the season. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Tampa Bay Rays saw the win go to their starting pitcher Drew Rasmussen. He allowed no earned runs off of 4 hits as he pitched 5 innings. He would strike out 7 batters, and with this win, he's 4-1. In the Rays batting lineup, their first baseman Yandy Diaz would end up going 3 for 4 with a run. Their designated hitter Harold Ramirez went 2 for 3 with a run. Their third baseman in this matchup, Isaac Paredes, would end up going 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. He hit his first 2 home runs of the season. With this win, the Tampa Bay Rays are 23-15. That is currently the second best record in the American League East. It is also the 3rd best record in the American League as they sit behind the Yankees and the Astros so far. The Rays have won their last 2 games. They've won 5 of their last 10. They are sitting 5.5 games behind the division-leading New York Yankees. Taking a look at where the Tigers are with this loss, they are now 13-25. That is the worst record in the American League Central. It is the worst record in the American League. Looking at the entire MLB, the Nationals and the Cincinnati Reds are the only 2 teams that have worse records than the Tigers this year. The Tigers have lost their last 2 games. They've lost 5 of their last 10. They are sitting 9 games behind the Minnesota Twins, who currently sit atop the AL Central. Taking a look at what happened in Milwaukee, the Brewers hosted the defending World Series champs Atlanta Braves. And in a game that went to overtime, or I guess into extra innings, the Brewers would beat the Braves 7-6 after outscoring the Braves 3-2 in the 10th and 11th innings. On the losing end of this matchup, the defending champs were led out by their starting pitcher Max Fried. Max Fried would allow 3 earned runs off of 7 hits in the 6 innings he pitched. He struck out 6 batters and walked 2. The loss would end up going to the Braves' closer for the day, Jesse Chavez. Chavez allowed 2 runs off of 1 hit as he finished the 10th inning. With this loss, he's 0-1. In the Braves batting lineup, their first baseman, Matt Olson, went 2 for 4 with a run. Their third baseman, Austin Riley, went 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs and a run as he hit home run number 8 of the year. Their designated hitter, Marcell Ozuna, went 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run. He hit his 7th home run of the season. Their elite second baseman, Ozzie Albies, went 2 for 5 with a run. With this, or I guess on the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Milwaukee Brewers were led out by their starting pitcher, the reigning Cy Young winner, Corbin Burnes. Corbin Burnes allowed 4 earned runs off of 7 hits in 6 innings pitched. He would strike out 5 batters. The win would go to the Brewers' closer for the day, Trevor Kelly, as he allowed 1 run off of 1 hit in the 11th inning. He would strike out a batter, and with this win, he's now 1-0. In the Brewers' batting lineup, their right fielder, Hunter Renfroe, would end up going 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run. Their center fielder in this matchup, Tyrone Taylor, would end up going 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run. With this win, the Milwaukee Brewers are now 24-14. That is the best record in the National League Central. That is the 3rd best record in the National League as they've won 5 of their last 10. They are sitting 3.5 games ahead of the second place St. Louis Cardinals in the NL Central. With this loss, the Atlanta Braves are 17-21. That is the 4th best record in the National League East as they've lost 5 of their last 10 games. They sit 7.5 games behind the division-leading New York Mets. Taking a look at what happened in Denver, the Colorado Rockies hosted the San Francisco Giants. The Rockies would end up beating San Francisco 5-3 after the Giants would take the lead in the 4th inning off of a Darren Ruff sac fly. The Rockies would tie it at the bottom of the 8th off of a Jonathan Daza single, and it would be a 2-run home run from C.J. Cron that gave them the 2-run lead, which gave them the win. On the losing end of this matchup, the San Francisco Giants were led out by their starting pitcher, Logan Webb. Logan Webb would allow 3 earned runs off of 4 hits in 7 innings pitched. He struck out 6 batters and walked 2. The loss would go to the Giants' first relief pitcher, Jose Alvarez. He allowed 2 earned runs off of 3 hits as he would get pulled in the 8th inning. With this would be his first blown save of the year, and with his first loss of the year, he's 0-1. In the Giants' batting lineup, their second baseman, Thairo Estrada, went 3 for 3 with a run. Their right fielder, Mike Yastrzemski, went 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Colorado Rockies saw the start go to Kyle Freeland. Freeland allowed 3 earned runs off of 7 hits in 6 innings pitched. He would strike out 8 batters and walk 2. The win will go to the Rockies setup relief pitcher Tyler Kinley. He allowed no earned runs off of one hit in the 8th inning as he struck out 2. With this win, he's now 1-0. The save would go to the Rockies closer Daniel Bard. Bard allowed no earned runs in the 9th inning as he struck out a batter. He picked up his 10th save of the year. In the Rockies batting lineup, their third baseman Ryan McMahon went 2 for 4 with a run. He was the only player with a multi-hit game. And with this win, the Colorado Rockies are now 18-19. That is the 4th best record in the National League West. They've won 2 of their last 10 games. They are sitting 7 games behind the division-leading Los Angeles Dodgers at this moment. With this loss, the San Francisco Giants are 22-15. That is the 3rd best record in the National League West. They've only lost 3 of their last 10. They are sitting 3 games behind the division-leading LA Dodgers at this moment. Taking a look at what happened in the Bay Area, the team that's actually occupying it, the Oakland A's, would end up losing to the Minnesota Twins. The Twins would win it 14-4 as the Athletics never even had a chance to take a lead in this matchup. The Twins would go on to score 5 runs in the 6th inning alone, in addition to like all the other runs they were scoring in all their other innings. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Oakland Athletics saw the loss go to their starting pitcher Dalton Jeffries. Jeffries would allow 6 earned runs off of 7 hits in the 4 innings he pitched. He struck out 5 batters and walked 3. With this loss, Jeffries is 1-7. In the A's batting lineup, their center fielder Ramon Laureano would end up going 2 for 5 with a run. Their first baseman Seth Brown went 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run. Their right fielder in this matchup, Luis Barrera, would end up going 3 for 4 with an RBI and a run. On the winning end of this matchup, the Minnesota Twins saw the win go to Sonny Gray. This would be Sonny Gray's first win of the season. He allowed 2 earned runs off of 6 hits and 6 innings pitched. He struck out 5 batters, and with this win, he's now 1-1. In the Twins batting lineup, their first baseman, Luis Arraez, would end up going 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs and 4 runs. Their elite shortstop, Carlos Correa, went 2 for 4 with an RBI and 2 runs. Their designated hitter, Gary Sanchez, went 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs. And then their catcher in this matchup, Ryan Jeffers, ended up going 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. With this win, the Minnesota Twins are now 22-16. That is the best record in the American League Central. They've won 5 of their last 10 games, and they are now sitting 3.5 games ahead of the second-place Chicago White Sox in their division. And with this loss, the Oakland Athletics are now 16-24. That is the worst record in the American League West. They have now lost 5 of their last 10 games as they sit 9 games behind the division-leading Houston Astros. Taking a look at what happened in Dodger Stadium, the LA Dodgers were able to jump out to yet another 5-game winning streak as they were able to beat the Diamondbacks 5-3. After the Diamondbacks took a 2-1 lead in the 3rd, the Dodgers would take the lead right back thanks to a 3-run home run from Justin Turner that would shift the tide in the Dodgers' favor, and which would eventually give them the win as they won it 5-3. On the losing end of this matchup, the Arizona Diamondbacks saw the loss go to their starting pitcher Zach Davies. Zach Davies allowed 5 earned runs off of 7 hits in the 4 innings he pitched. He struck out 2 batters, and with this loss, he's now 2-2. In the Diamondbacks batting lineup, their catcher Dalton Varsho ended up going 2 for 5 with 2 runs. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown LA Dodgers saw the win go to their elite starting pitcher Walker Buehler. Buehler allowed 2 earned runs off of 6 hits and 5 innings pitched. He would strike out 4 batters and walk 2. With this win, Walker Buehler is 5-1. The save would go to the Dodgers closer for the day, Daniel Hudson. Daniel Hudson will go on to allow no earned runs and no hits in the 9th inning as he would strike out a batter. This was Hudson's 2nd save of the year. In the Dodgers batting lineup, the only player with a multi-hit game was the former National League MVP, their elite center fielder, Cody Bellinger. He went 2 for 3 with a run. With this win, the LA Dodgers are 25-12. That is the best record in the National League West. That is the best win percentage in the National League, as the only team with a better record than them is the New York Yankees. The Dodgers have now won their last 5 games. Their 5-game winning streak is the longest active winning streak in the majors. They have now won 6 of their last 10 games. They sit 2 games ahead of the second-place San Diego Padres at this moment in their division on top of the NL West. With this loss, the Arizona Diamondbacks are now on the bottom of the NL West as they are sitting at 18-21. They've now lost their last 6 games. The Diamondbacks' 6-game losing streak is tied with the Baltimore Orioles for the longest active losing streak in baseball. They've lost 7 of their last 10 games. They are sitting 8 games behind the division-leading Los Angeles Dodgers, who just beat them. Taking a look at what happened in Fenway, the Boston Red Sox hosted the defending American League champs Houston Astros in a rematch of the ALCS. The Red Sox would end up beating the Astros in this one 5-1, holding the Astros to only 2 hits all game. On the losing end of this matchup, the Houston Astros would see the loss go to their starting pitcher, Luis Garcia. Garcia would allow 3 earned runs. He allowed 5 runs total off of 5 hits in 4 innings pitched. He would strike out 4 batters and walk 3. With this loss, he's 3-2. In the Astros batting lineup, their elite second baseman Jose Altuve would go 1 for 4 with an RBI and a run as he scored the lone run of the game for the Astros. His home run was his 8th of the year. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Boston Red Sox saw the complete game win go to their starting pitcher, Nick Pivetta. Pivetta allowed only 1 earned run on only 2 hits in 9 innings against the defending American League champs. He would strike out 8 batters and walk none. With this win, he's now 2-4. In the Red Sox batting lineup, their elite third baseman Rafael Devers would go 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run. Their elite shortstop Xander Bogaerts went 1 for 4 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 4th home run of the season. With this win, the Boston Red Sox are 15-22. That is the 4th best record in the American League East. They've won 5 of their last 10 games. They are sitting 13 games behind the AL East leading New York Yankees, who are their arch nemesis, arch rival. With this loss, the Houston Astros are 24-14. That is the best record in the AL West and the second best record in the American League behind the Yankees. The Astros have lost 3 of their last 10 games as they now sit a game ahead of the second place LA Angels in their division. They just have 2 less losses than the Angels. And taking a look at what happened in Miami, the Miami Marlins hosted the Washington Nationals. In a game that would go to extra innings, the Nats would beat the Marlins 5-4. The difference would be a Keibert Ruiz RBI double in the top of the 10th that would bring D. Strange Gordon home. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Miami Marlins would be led out by their starting pitcher Pablo Lopez. He allowed 3 earned runs off of 4 hits in 3 innings pitched. He would strike out 2 batters and walk 3. The loss for the Marlins went to their closer, Daniel Castano. Castano would allow 1 run off of 1 hit as he would pitch the 9th and 10th innings for the Marlins. With this loss, he's 0-1. In the Marlins batting lineup, their second baseman, Jazz Chisholm Jr., would go on to go 2 for 2 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. He hit his 4th triple and 7th home run of the day. Their 4th triple and 7th home run of the season. Of course, not of the day. Their center fielder, Jesus Sanchez, would go 2 for 4 with a run. And on the winning end of this matchup, the Washington Nationals were led out by their starting pitcher, Josiah Gray. Josiah Gray allowed 3 earned runs off of 6 hits in 6 innings pitched. He struck out 7 batters. The win will go to the Nats setup relief pitcher Tanner Rainey. Rainey allowed 1 earned run off of 1 hit in the 9th inning as he struck out a batter and walked 2. He picked up his 2nd blown save of the year, and with this win, he's now 1-1. The save for the Nats went to their closer, Victor Arano. Arano allowed no earned runs in the 10th inning as he picked up his 1st save of the year. In the Nats batting lineup, their second baseman, Cesar Hernandez, went 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run. Their catcher, Keibert Ruiz, went 3 for 3 with an RBI and a run. Their third baseman, Michael Franco, went 2 for 5. With this win, the Washington Nationals are now holding the worst record in the National League East. The only team that holds a worse record than them in the MLB this year is the Cincinnati Reds in the NL Central. The Washington Nationals have now won 3 of their last 10 games. They are currently sitting 12 games behind the division-leading New York Mets. With this loss, the Miami Marlins are 17-20. That is the 3rd best record in the National League East as they've lost 6 of their last 10. They are sitting 7 games behind the division-leading New York Mets. Taking a look at what happened in Philadelphia, the Phillies hosted the San Diego Padres. Phillies would go on to shut the Padres out 3-0, holding the Padres to 4 hits all game, taking their lead in the first inning off of an RBI single from JT Realmuto. On the losing end of this matchup, the Padres would be led out by their elite starting pitcher, Blake Snell. The former American League Cy Young winner would allow 3 earned runs off of 3 hits in 3.2 innings pitched. He struck out 5 batters and walked 3. With this loss, he's 0-1. In the Padres batting lineup, nobody on their team would finish with more than one hit. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Philadelphia Phillies saw the win go to their starting pitcher, Zach Wheeler. Wheeler allowed no earned runs off of 4 hits in 7 innings pitched as he struck out 9 batters. With this win, he's now 2-3. The save would end up going to the Phillies closer, Corey Knebel, as he allowed no earned runs and only 1 hit in the ninth. Or he allowed no hits or runs in the 9th inning, as he would pick up his 8th save of the year. In the Phillies batting lineup, nobody on their team finished with more than 1 hit. Their first baseman, Rhys Hoskins, went 1-for-3 with an RBI and 2 runs as he hit his 7th home run of the year. With this win, the Philadelphia Phillies are 18-19. That is the second best record in the National League East as they've won 6 of their last 10 games. They are sitting 6 games behind the division-leading New York Mets at this moment. With this loss, the San Diego Padres are 23-14. That is the second best record in the National League West behind the Dodgers as they've now lost 5 of their last 10. They are sitting 2 games behind the division-leading Dodgers, who are just a 2-hour drive away. Taking a look at what happened in Baltimore in Camden Yards, the Orioles hosted the hottest team in baseball as the Yankees were able to beat the Orioles 3-2, scoring all 3 of their runs in the first inning. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Baltimore Orioles saw the loss go to their starting pitcher, Jordan Lyles. Lyles would allow 3 runs off of 5 hits in the 7 innings he pitched. He would strike out 8 batters, and with this loss, he's 2-4. In the Orioles batting lineup, their left fielder, Austin Hayes, would end up going 3-for-4 with an RBI and a run. He was the only player with a multi-hit game. On the winning end of this matchup, the win for the Yankees went to their elite starting pitcher, Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole would allow 2 earned runs off of 6 hits in the 7 innings he pitched. He would strike out 5 batters, and he would walk none. With this win, he's now 4-0. The save for the Yankees would go to their lone relief pitcher in this game, Clay Holmes. Clay Holmes would go on to allow no earned runs off of 1 hit as he pitched the last 2 innings of this game. He would strike out a batter, and he would pick up his 3rd save of the year. In the Yankees batting lineup, their third baseman, Josh Donaldson, went 2-for-4 with a run, as he was the only player with a multi-hit game. With this win, the New York Yankees are 28-9. That is the best record in the American League East, and it is the best record in the majors. They're the only team that still has a single-digit amount of losses. They're the only team who's won at least 70% of their games as well so far. They are on a 4-game winning streak as they've won 9 of their last 10. They are sitting 5.5 games ahead of the second-place Tampa Bay Rays in their own division. With this loss, the Baltimore Orioles are 14-24. That is the worst record in the American League East, as they are now holding on to the league's longest active losing streak, tied with the Arizona Diamondbacks. They've now lost their last 6 games, and they've lost 7 of their last 10. Right now, the Detroit Tigers are the only team that have a worse record than the Orioles in the American League. They sit 14.5 games behind the division-leading New York Yankees at this moment. Taking a look at what happened in Toronto, north of the border, the Blue Jays hosted the Seattle Mariners. The Mariners would see the Blue Jays, of course, tie the game up at 1 in the 3rd, but the Mariners would take the lead right back in the top of the 5th off of a solo home run from Cal Raleigh and then score 3 unanswered after that to win it 5-1. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Blue Jays saw the loss go to their starting pitcher, Kevin Gausman. Gausman allowed 2 earned runs off of 7 hits in the 5 innings he pitched. He would strike out 3 batters and walk 1. With this loss, Kevin Gausman is 3-3. In the Blue Jays batting lineup, their second baseman, Santiago Espinal, would go 2-for-4. He was the only player with a multi-hit game. On the winning end of this matchup, the Seattle Mariners saw the win go to their starting pitcher, Marco Gonzalez. Gonzalez allowed 1 earned run off of 5 hits in the 6 innings he pitched. He would strike out 2 batters and walk 3. With this win, he's now 2-4. In the Mariners batting lineup, their right fielder Adam Frazier went 3-for-5 with 2 runs. Their first baseman Ty France went 3-for-5 with 2 RBIs and a run. Ty France hit his 6th home run of the year. With this win, the Seattle Mariners are 17-21. That is the 4th best record in the American League West. They've won 5 of their last 10 games as they sit 7 games behind the division-leading Houston Astros. With this loss, the Toronto Blue Jays are 20-18. That is the 3rd best record in the American League East as they've lost 7 of their last 10. They are sitting 8.5 games behind the division-leading New York Yankees at this moment. Taking a look at what happened in Queens, the New York Mets hosted the St. Louis Cardinals. The Mets would end up beating the Cardinals 11-4. The difference in this matchup would, of course, come in the fifth inning. The Mets would break a 2-2 tie off of an RBI single from Pete Alonso. And after that, after the score was tied at 2, the Mets would, of course, outscore the Cardinals 9-2 after the second inning, starting in the fifth. On the losing end of this matchup, the Cardinals would be led out by their starting pitcher, Jordan Hicks. Jordan Hicks allowed 2 earned runs off of 3 hits he did all this in 4 innings pitched. He would strike out 5 batters and walk 3. The loss would go to the Cardinals' first relief pitcher, Jake Walsh. Walsh allowed 4 earned runs off of 2 hits as he did not register a single out, and with this loss, he's 0-1. In the Cardinals batting lineup, their elite third baseman Nolan Arenado went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run as he hit his 9th home run of the year. Their center fielder Dylan Carlson ended up going 3 for 4 with a run. Their future Hall of Fame designated hitter Albert Pujols went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown New York Mets saw the win go to their goated starting pitcher Max Scherzer. Scherzer allowed 2 runs off of 7 hits in the 5.2 innings he pitched. He would strike out 4 batters, and with this win, he's now 5-1. In the Mets batting lineup, their right fielder Mark Canha went 2 for 3 with an RBI and 3 runs. Their elite first baseman Pete Alonso went 2 for 4 with 4 RBIs and 2 runs. He hit his 9th home run of the year. Their left fielder Jeff McNeil went 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run. With this win, the New York Mets are now 25-14. That is the best record in the National League East, and only the LA Dodgers have a better record than them in the National League. The New York Mets and the Dodgers have the most wins in the National League at 25, and only the Yankees have more wins than the Mets right now. The Mets have won 6 of their last 10, and they sit 6 games ahead of the second-place Philadelphia Phillies in the NL East. With this loss, the St. Louis Cardinals are 20-17. That is the second-best record in the National League Central, as they've now lost 6 of their last 10. They are sitting 3.5 games behind the division-leading Milwaukee Brewers at this moment. Taking a look at what happened in Wrigley, the Chicago Cubs hosted the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Pirates would end up beating the Cubs 3-2 after the Cubs scored the first run of the game. After the Cubs would tie it up at 2 in the 4th, it would be a Jack Sawinski home run from the Pirates that would give them the extra run they needed to win this game 3-2. On the losing end of this matchup, the Cubs were led out by their starting pitcher, Drew Smyly. Smyly allowed 3 earned runs off of 6 hits in 4.1 innings pitched as he struck out 5 and walked 1. The defending World Series champ is now 1-5 on the 2022 season. In the Cubs batting lineup, nobody on their team would finish with more than 1 hit, as their left fielder Ian Happ would hit his 3rd home run of the season. On the winning end of this matchup, the Pittsburgh Pirates would be led out by their starting pitcher Wil Crowe. Crowe allowed 1 earned run off of 1 hit in the 2 innings he pitched. He struck out 3 batters and walked 1. The win would go to the Pirates' first relief pitcher, Mitch Keller. Keller allowed 1 earned run off of 3 hits as he would go on to pitch 2.2 innings, getting pulled in the 5th. He would strike out 4 batters and walk 2. With his win, he's 1-5. The save would go to the Pirates' closer, David Bednar. He allowed no earned runs and only 1 hit in the last 2 innings of the game. He would strike out 2 batters, and as he picked up his 8th save of the year. In the Pirates batting lineup, their center fielder, Brian Reynolds, went 2 for 3 with a run. Their second baseman, Michael Chavis, went 3 for 4 with an RBI. With this win, the Pittsburgh Pirates are 16-21. That is the 3rd best record in the National League Central. They've won 5 of their last 10 games as they now sit 7.5 games behind the division-leading Milwaukee Brewers. With this loss, the Chicago Cubs are now 15-21. That is the 4th best record in the NL Central. They've lost 4 of their last 10 as they sit 8 full games behind the Milwaukee Brew Crew. Taking a look at what happened in Arlington, the Texas Rangers hosted the Los Angeles Angels. The Rangers would end up beating the Angels 6-5 as this game ended up having to go to extra innings. The Angels would force it in the 9th inning. After Mike Trout's fielder's choice would bring Andrew Velazquez to the plate in the top of the 10th, it would be a 2-run home run from Nathaniel Lowe to give the Texas Rangers their win. So, of course, that would be quite the storyline for the Rangers. On the losing end of this matchup, the Los Angeles Angels were led out by their elite starting pitcher, the reigning American League MVP, Shohei Ohtani. He would allow 2 earned runs off of 6 hits in the 6 innings he pitched as he struck out 7 and walked 2. The loss would go to the Angels closer, Raisel Iglesias. Iglesias allowed 2 runs off of 1 hit as he would go on to finish the game and he would pick up a strikeout, and with his loss, he's 1-2. In the Angels batting lineup, their goated center fielder Mike Trout went 1 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run. He had his 11th home run of the year. Their elite third baseman Anthony Rendon went 2 for 5 with a run. Their first baseman Jared Walsh went 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs as he had his 7th and 8th home runs of the year. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Texas Rangers would be led out by their starting pitcher Dane Dunning. Dane Dunning allowed 2 earned runs off of 3 hits in the 6 innings he pitched. He would strike out 6 batters and walk 3. The win would end up going to the Rangers closer for the day, Dennis Santana. Santana allowed 1 run off of 1 hit in the 10th inning as he struck out a batter. With his win, he's now 2-1. In the Rangers batting lineup, their designated hitter, Brad Miller, would go 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run. He had his 6th home run of the year. Their elite second baseman, Marcus Semien, went 3 for 5. Their right fielder, Cole Calhoun, went 2 for 3 with an RBI and 2 runs as he had his 5th home run of the year. Their catcher, Jonah Heim, would go 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs. With this win, the Texas Rangers are 17-19. That is the 3rd best record in the American League West. They are holding on to a 4-game winning streak. They are tied with the Yankees for the longest active winning streak in the American League. Only the Dodgers have a longer active winning streak than the Rangers right now. The Rangers have won 6 of their last 10. They are sitting 6 games behind the division-leading Houston Astros at this moment. With this loss, the Los Angeles Angels are 24-16. That is the 2nd best record in the American League West. They've lost their last 3 games, and they've lost 5 of their last 10. With 2 more losses than the Astros, they sit a full game behind the Astros, as the Angels are holding on to the 4th best record in the American League at this moment. Taking a look at what happened in Kansas City, the Royals hosted the defending American League Central champs, the Chicago White Sox. The Royals would end up beating the White Sox 6-2. The White Sox did tie the game up in the top of the 5th. The Royals would break the tie in the bottom of the 6th off of an RBI triple from Emmanuel Rivera, leading off a four-run stretch that would see the Royals walk away with win number 14 as they won it 6-2. On the losing end of this matchup, the Chicago White Sox were led out by Lucas Giolito. Giolito allowed 2 earned runs off of 7 hits in 5 innings pitched. He would strike out 7 batters and walk 2. With this, the loss would end up going to the White Sox first relief pitcher, Reynaldo Lopez. He allowed 2 earned runs off of 2 hits as he pitched the 6th and 7th innings, and with this loss, he's 4-1. He would strike out a batter. With this loss, he's 4-1. In the White Sox batting lineup, their elite shortstop, Tim Anderson, went 3 for 5 with an RBI, and then their second baseman, Leury Garcia, would end up going 2 for 4 with an RBI. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Kansas City Royals were led out by their former Cy Young winner, Zach Greinke. Greinke allowed 2 earned runs off of 7 hits in the 5.2 innings he pitched. He struck out 4 batters and walked 1. The win would go to the Royals' first relief pitcher, Colin Snyder. Snyder allowed no earned runs and only 1 hit as he finished off the 6th inning. With this win, he's now 3-1. In the Royals batting lineup, their shortstop, Bobby Witt Jr., went 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run as he had home run number 4 on the year. The Royals catcher for the day, MJ Melendez, would end up going 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. The Royals' third baseman for the day, Emmanuel Rivera, would end up going 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. And then their center fielder, Kyle Isbell, would end up going 2 for 3 with an RBI. With this win, the Kansas City Royals are 14-22. That is the 4th best record in the American League Central. They've now won their last 2 games, and they've won 5 of their last 10. They are now sitting 7 games behind the division-leading Minnesota Twins. That is currently where the Royals are sitting. And with this loss, the Chicago White Sox are 18-19. That is the 2nd best record in the American League Central, as they've lost their last 2 games and they've lost 6 of their last 10. They are sitting 3.5 games behind the division-leading Minnesota Twins at this moment. That's what the MLB is looking like following yesterday's matchups. Taking a look at what's going on today, it looks as though because it is Thursday, there's not going to be as many games because today is a travel day. The first game is going to be at 12:35 as the Baltimore Orioles host the hottest team in baseball, the New York Yankees, as the Yankees still have yet to pick up their 10th loss of the year as they are entering game number 38. At 1:05 in Citizens Bank Park, the Philadelphia Phillies are set to host the San Diego Padres as Yu Darvish is set to make a start. Yu Darvish, the Padres' elite starting pitcher out of Japan, enters this matchup with a 3-1 record holding a 4.62 ERA. At 1:10 on ESPN+, the New York Mets, led by Chris Bassett, are set to host the St. Louis Cardinals as the St. Louis Cardinals are going to be led out by Dakota Hudson. Looking at how this matchup is set to be, the Cardinals are starting with Dakota Hudson. Hudson enters this matchup with a 3-2 record, holding a 3.06 ERA. Chris Bassett, representing the NL East leaders, enters this matchup with a 4-2 record, holding a 2.34 ERA. At 1:10, Cal Quantrill and the Cleveland Guardians are set to host Tyler Mahle and the Cincinnati Reds, as the Reds hold the worst record in the National League, or in all of baseball, for that matter. At 2:10, Carlos Hernandez and the Kansas City Royals are set to host Vince Velasquez and the Chicago White Sox. At 7:10 at Fenway, the Boston Red Sox are set to host the Seattle Mariners. At 7:40, Marcus Stroman and the Chicago Cubs are set to host the Arizona Diamondbacks in Wrigley Field. And then at 8:10, the defending American League champs Houston Astros are going to host the Texas Rangers, as the Astros are just barely holding on to the American League West lead. Taking a look at what's going on outside of the States with soccer, the big game that happened yesterday was the Europa League final, as the German side, Frankfurt, would face off against Rangers, the Scottish side. And of course, just giving a little bit of context as to how both of these teams would even make it to this round in the first place. Of course, starting first with Scottish Rangers, Rangers were able to make it to the round of, once they made it to the round of 16, because I'm going to start there. They would go on to beat Crvena Zvezda as they won that matchup 4-2 after their defining win in that matchup was their first leg, where they beat them 3-0. In the quarterfinal, they would go on to lose in the first leg to Braga, only to beat Braga 3-2 on aggregates after beating them 3-1 in the second leg. In the semifinal leg, Rangers would end up beating RB Leipzig after winning 3-2 on aggregates, only to lose in the first semifinal leg. And then looking at how Eintracht Frankfurt would make it to this round. In the round of 16, they would go on to beat Real Betis. They won that aggregate specifically 3-2 after their defining win was the 2-1 win in the first leg. In the quarterfinal matchup, they would go on to beat Barcelona after their defining win was the second leg, winning it 3-2. In the semifinal leg, Eintracht Frankfurt would go on to beat West Ham, as they would go on to win both matchups by a goal. And in this final, Eintracht will go on to beat Rangers on penalty kicks, as Eintracht Frankfurt will be the fifth German side that will be attending Champions League this upcoming year, as they will, of course, they have, of course, earned their way in and said they're getting ready to prepare for yet another season of international play. And, of course, congratulations to Rangers for, of course, making it this far. But that was the big game from yesterday. Taking a look at what is going on today as we are entering the last week of a lot of European soccer. Starting first in the German Bundesliga promotion relegation playoff. Hertha Berlin is going to face off against Hamburg, as Hamburg is going to try to fight their way back in. This will be a very interesting matchup to see what goes on there. But looking at what's going on in the Premier League, the top team that's going to be playing will be Chelsea as they face off against Leicester City. Chelsea has already clinched a spot, or they have not actually mathematically clinched a spot, but a win would, of course, do them wonders and move them a lot further. But that is what's going on here as we move and navigate through the world of sports one day at a time. I want to thank the ESPN, the NBA, the MLB, the NHL, all those sites for giving me all the facts and figures I need. And once all of today's exhibitions and matchups are done, I'm going to come back tomorrow on Friday, May 20th, as I, of course, have more to talk about, as sports, of course, is a script that writes itself. I do want to apologize for all the names that I butchered, as I do plan on getting better with those. With that said, I want to thank everyone once again for listening to this piece. I hope all is well, and I'll catch you with more tomorrow. Peace out.